Welcome, or welcome back to our Otago Rail Trail adventure. Today is day one of cycling. Join us as we ride from Clyde to Lauder and end up in detention when we get there.
You got saddlebags too if you want.
Yes, I definitely have.
Oh, these fold out. You'll need that.
Yeah, nice.
Oh,
Got
sorry,
that.
Get out!
Oh, look, I think I've lost weight already. I've lost weight already. Woo-hoo. Oh my God, that was jittery.
Yep, good.
Morning.
This pretty little bridge is located just outside the small settlement of Ophir. Ophir was originally known as Blacks, but then its name changed in 1863 as its population grew to over 1,000 and it became the commercial and social centre of the district. There was no political correctness here in that time. The town was simply named after two brothers, Black, who owned the farm where gold was first discovered. The town was renamed Ophir because this is where King Solomon obtained the gold to sheath the temple in Jerusalem, and thus is the place name of the legendary King Solomon's gold mines. Interesting story.
It's just perfect for you.
Isn't it?
Trust you to be in there.
Exactly.
Okay, is it big?
It's got two rooms. So here we are in Lauder, and they've put us in the detention shed. Somebody must have called ahead and gave them previous knowledge. As you can see, the weather isn't great, but we made it in the end. Now I can't get through the door. Here we go. So, a couple of single beds. Just into here already. Double bed. And what have we got down here? It's a bit dark. But we have a shower. Toilet, call that an ensuite, I guess. So there we are in Lauder. Well, that's day one of the Otago Rail Trail. Day one proper, and the first day we just drove in the van. But today was all about cycling, 44 Ks I think it was. And if I'm honest, I'm shattered. There's the longest part of the trail was today in terms of its uphill. I'll look it out. I think it was 4 to 6 Ks. It's just a gentle gradient, but it takes it out of you. And it was a headwind the whole way. Some of the seasoned cyclists that went past us said, "Oh, the wind's a bitch." So it was bad for everybody. Anyway, we've got a few beers that we bought, and we're going to hoe into those shortly, and probably go off to one of the famous old pubs around here. So we'll catch you shortly. Right, honey. Now that we've showered and refreshed ourselves, what are your thoughts about day one of cycling, and in particular how you found the electric bike?
Yeah, the bike was great. Still sort of getting used to dismounting, because I felt the seat was a little bit on the high side, but I only used third level power when it got really windy, which was coming into Chateau Creek, and there was a horrible headwind and some crosswinds and a lot of loose gravel, But yeah, on the whole, pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad I had the electric bike as opposed to you guys, who I know it was pretty tough with the wind in particular.
Okay, thank you, sweetheart.
You going to ask me about anything else?
What would you like? I was just still running. What would you like me to ask you?
I was expecting it to be a little bit more scenic. Maybe it was because it was an overcast day. A lot of the time when I was concentrating, I had my head down. So, you know, maybe that was a lot of the scenery was missed because I was, you know, focused on keeping balanced on the bike, having not done a lot of riding over the recent years. So we set off to visit St. Bathans, where there is a very pretty blue lake. Unfortunately, the day we visited was a very miserable, cold, grey, drizzly day, so we didn't see it at its best. So then we went to the little township and able to admire all the lovely old stone and wooden buildings that have been restored. We're hoping to visit the famous Vulcan pub, but given that it was Otago Day, everything was closed. So we headed back to the little schoolhouse. Ronnie seemed to be missing in action, and I thought, well, where will I start to go looking for him? I thought, the pub. So across the road I went to the Lauder Hotel and peered through the window, and sure enough, who should be in there but Ronald and his merry band of mates. After spending an hour or so in a lovely warm pub with a fire going, we walked across to the Railside Cafe for a traditional Kiwi roast. The picture that you see was not how we experienced it. It was freezing cold, it was drizzling, and we had to sit outside on the deck to enjoy our roast lamb dinner. The meal was lovely nonetheless, but the conditions were a little bit unpleasant.
Well, that was pretty much how the day ended. We went back to the schoolhouse, had a couple more beers, and then headed off for bed. There were some pretty tired people in that schoolhouse that night. We'd been warned about a local possum that seemed to take a liking to the detention shed roof. Sure enough, despite the fact that it rained and howled with wind most of the night, this thing showed up at 2 a.m. and then again at 4 a.m. In our next video, day 2 of cycling on the Otago Rail Trail, we reached the high point on the trail and try our hand at a Winter Olympic sport that was first played in medieval Scotland. See you over there.